Oh, hello, hello. I think I'm live. I hope I'm live. Okay, I'm going to see if I'm there. Wake up iPad. Let's just see. Yes, it looks like I am. I'm up the right way, which is always a good start and not guaranteed. As you know, if you've been watching for a while. Mary's here. Hi, Mary. I hope I didn't keep you waiting. Oh, it's been one of those mornings. Do I say that every week? I sometimes feel like perhaps I do say that every week. Okay. Brilliant. So only Mary so far. So hi, Mary. Yes, so what's it like here today? It's grey and miserable outside. I expect it's the same with you, Mary, because you live pretty close to me. Gillian's here. Hi, Gillian. She says hello to everyone. And Pam is too. I'm just talking about the weather and saying it's very grey and overcast where I am. I don't know what it's like where you are. Gillian, you're a bit further away. I'm hoping maybe you've got some nice bright sunshine, but who knows. It's also cold here, although I put a jumper on, but I've got a feeling I'm going to be too hot. I've got lots of lights on to try and get rid of all the shadows, and already I'm feeling a bit warm. So there we go. Katie's here. Hello, Katie, and hi, Lynn. Nice to see you both. Okay, I'm seeing all these names, all the names coming up. Oh, it's wet and cold with Lynn. Yeah, we had loads of rain. It's rained most of the morning, Lynn. So perhaps you're getting what we've had. And it's cold and wet with Gillian too. Okay, so that's pretty much everywhere then, certainly towards the south of the country. Yeah, my son came home from work. He was rained off. Yeah, so he's, mind you, he's gone out on his push bike, but still, he couldn't work. It was too wet to work. I spent forever in the post office this morning. I went out and it should have taken me 15 minutes there and back because it's only in the village just very close to me. And it just took forever. There was a poor chap there trying to fill in a customs form to send something to Ireland. And oh God, he ended up having to fill in the form about 3 times. It was just a nightmare. And I was standing there trying not to get impatient. It was very frustrating. So I was out for absolutely ages, longer than I should have been. And yes, so I was a little bit behind. Dull and miserable Monday and Tuesday hot and sunny. Well, that's good to hear, Mary. Thank you, because as lots of you know, I'm taking next week off. In fact, I'm stopping work at the end of today and I'm not going back until the Tuesday after Easter. So it's just over a week, which would be really nice. So hot and sunny sounds perfect. I might be able to dust off the garden furniture and get out there with a book. Who knows? Chris is here. Hi, Chris. Lovely to see you. Oh, getting more names, but I think they're repetitions. Every now and then it tells me that somebody's watching, and I know they're watching. I think, Mary, I think your name's come up about 12 times, but that's fine. So what is there to tell you about in the world of Stampin' Up? Well, the big thing, of course, is that the last chance list for the annual catalogue has been released, and great excitement there. That was released on Wednesday evening. So I've sent an email out to all my regular customers and also to my newsletter mailing list. So you should all have heard from me, although I know sometimes those things end up in junk or spam. So if you were expecting to hear and you haven't, have a look there. Already things have sold out, predictably. Not necessarily the things I would have expected to sell out quickly, but nonetheless, things have sold out quickly. I'm going to pull out just a very few things in the catalogue to tell you about in a minute when I put the camera down, but not loads and loads, because this is more about crafting than it is about the catalogue. Thank you, Chris. Chris is saying enjoy my break. Rosie's here too. Hi, Rosie. And it's telling me Mary's here as well. I know you're here, Mary. It must like you, I think. Lorraine's here. Hello, Lorraine. She's saying hello to everyone. Oh, and Belinda thinks hot and sunny sounds good because she's just had a cold dog walk. I bet it was cold. Yes, I know Tansy doesn't like the cold or the wet, does she? Very wise dog. So yes, the last chance list has been announced. So this is just for the annual catalogue, the January to June mini catalogue. We don't have to worry about anything leaving from that at the moment. I have had a sneak peek at the new annual catalogue, which my customers will be able to get at the beginning of May, and I can tell you it's fabulous. I've spent everything I had planned on spending and more. So it's a good thing that some of the things on my shelf are retiring, or I wouldn't have anywhere to put everything. Okay, So, oh, Belinda's saying no, Tansy doesn't, Tansy doesn't like the cold and wet, and neither does her mum. No, I don't like the cold and wet. Still, the clocks go forward, isn't it? Spring forward. Yeah, clocks go forward on Saturday night, so that's good. The garden is blooming, everything's growing like crazy, including the lawn, but with all the rain it's difficult to mow it, but never mind, I'm not going to complain about spring coming. I'm really not a winter person. I don't mind snow and blue skies, but the constant grey and damp wetness really gets to me, so I'm always happy this time of year to be starting to see the back of it. Jackie's here. Hi Jackie. She's just found me by chance, I think. Yeah, I'm here every Friday at 2 o'clock, Jackie, for about an hour or so of chat and crafting. So you're always welcome to join me. Chris is saying hi to you, Jackie, as well. Having said I'm here every Friday, please don't come here next Friday. Next Friday is Good Friday and I will not be here crafting and chatting with you. So don't come along at 2 o'clock and then be sad. But I will be back the Friday after, which must be the 9th. That sounds about right. Yeah, on the 9th. So after today, I'll be back here on the 9th. Katie's had her grass cut this week. They must have got in before the rain, Katie. Well done. Okay, so if you're enjoying what you see with me, please like the post and please share it. The Facebook algorithm is a very mysterious thing. So not everybody who has liked my Facebook page or all the rest of it gets notified when I go live. I try and tell everybody, but it's really helpful if they get a notification pop up. And one of the ways that happens is if you like or you do the heart for this particular post where you're watching me live, that really helps. And the other thing that really helps is if you can share it, because that way people you know will see it, and if they're interested, they know to click over as well. So that also helps me get seen by people who might be interested in what I'm doing. So a big thank you in advance to those of you that do that regularly, and to somebody who maybe will do it today for the first time. You just have to click the share button either during, which is great because then you don't forget, or afterwards. So thank you in advance for that. Right, I'm just having a look. Belinda's saying yes, spring forward, yippee. Okay, cryptic comment from Jackie, but I don't think it was addressed to me, or maybe it was. Lots of laughs. Is it Friday? Thanks, Chris. Okay, so hopefully, Chris, you saw that. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down. I'm just going to mention a few things in the catalogue about the last chance or the retiring list, and then I'm going to unbox my Simply Citrus kit. I literally have not opened the box. I thought I would do that live with you and do a little bit of crafting with some very bright, cheerful colours as it's spring. So right, I'm going to cover you over. We've got yellow today, so everything's going to go yellow. And then I will fiddle around with my positioning of everything without making you feel motion sick. So just bear with me while I do that. The sound might go funny because I have to alter my microphone as well. I don't know if any of you have got the Simply Citrus kit already, or if you've made it up and are therefore an expert. But it's my first time with it. Okay, I'm just turning myself so I hopefully will be up the right way. And I'm retrieving my kit, which I had left on the other side of the room, which was not very clever. Usually I write a whole load of notes for today and I lay everything out really neatly. And I didn't today because of the trip to the post office that I was talking about earlier. Jackie's saying yes to me. Oh, you thought it was Saturday. So you thought I went on Saturday, or you thought that today was Saturday, Jackie? Okay, so I'm going to try not to move this. I realise I've got my microphone wire all in the picture. I think that's got it hooked up out of the way. So I've got my catalogue open at the Simply Citrus page, which is page 7. So this is the annual catalogue, remember, not the spring and summer mini. And the first thing to tell you is that it's not going to be carrying over into the new catalogue, but that means that they have reduced it. Not everything that's retiring is reduced, but this is reduced by 20%. So it's £24 now for this kit, and you'll see in a minute what's in it, but I can tell you that it's got stamps and a block and an ink pad, as well as all the bits and pieces. So that sounds pretty good to me. £24 dropped by 20%. Jackie doesn't know what day it is. Never mind, Jackie. Belinda's saying, yes, this kit is gorgeous. She's made it up as a set for a gift. That's really nice. Did you put it in the original box to give it, Belinda? Right, so I'm paging through. One of the things that I didn't do because I was going to mark in here one or two things I particularly wanted to draw to your attention. So I'm relying on my memory. Let's see how good that is. Okay, so I'm on page 16. I wanted to show you this, which is Butterfly Wishes. It's a beautiful set with blossom and a flower and some butterflies. This butterfly fits the butterfly duet punch. So does this little one. It's really pretty. This has been reduced by 60%. This stamp set is £8.40. That is a steal. That's a steal. I don't think it's going to be there for very long. Right, I'm paging through very quickly, not very professionally, because I really should have these pages marked. But I'm going to be quick. Okay, now everything, if you see the pink highlighter, that is something that has been reduced in price. This set here, Parcels and Petals, it's got these pretty blossom stamps. You could make your own designer series paper with that. As well as this, which again you could repeat stamp, especially if you've got the Stamparatus. Useful words, thank you, to and from, a little something. Birthday cheer to you all year. This is reduced by 75%. I don't think in all the time I have been a Stampin' Up demonstrator, which is nearly 10 years, I've ever seen a 75% discount on the last chance list. These stamps are £5. £5! That's really nothing. And they're red rubber as well. So they will last you forever. Okay. Here's another set reduced by 40%, page 45. So much happy. So happy to celebrate you. So very happy. Happy birthday. Happy to have you in my life. Happy to know you. Happy graduation. Got balloons. £12. Yeah, 40% off. Really, really good. Now, if you can see these big black lines like this, my cross, these have gone. These are sold out already. Yeah, super quick. Belinda's saying that if anyone's interested, the lemon punch is also in the clearance rack, and that goes really well with a citrus set. Thank you, Belinda, for that. And she's saying that when she made up her kit, she embellished the box and added ribbon. I should think that was absolutely beautiful. Now, I could page and page through the stamps, but really some of the discounts are amazing. Some of the things I just want to point out to you at the end are one or two things which are going, which I talk about quite a lot. The stamping sponges, they are going, as are the sponge brayers, which are here. I use both of these a lot, although I have to say I am not going for them nearly as much now we have the blending brushes. I think those are taking over. Everybody I know who's tried the blending brushes finds them so much easier to use. So I think Stampin' Up are just anticipating that actually people are not going to be wanting the sponges and the brayers. They're just going to want the blending brushes. So they're making space in the warehouse, I hope, for lots and lots and lots of them. On the opposite side of that page, which is 146, where we've got the embossing powder, don't panic that it looks like all the embossing powder is going. In the new catalogue, it's just been put into packs of 3 different colours. We've got 2 packs of 3. So instead of it being sold individually, it'll be in packs of 3. So don't panic. That's almost all sold out in the individual colours. The only thing that's left at the moment is the clear one. Hello, Faye. Lovely to have you joining us. And there, what else was I trying to find in here for you? The ribbons and embellishments in the new catalogue are going to be absolutely lovely. You will really like those. A lot of the punches are going. We're getting some new punches, but a lot of them are going. All the circle punches are leaving. So if you want those, 2 of them are left. The 2-inch and the 1.5 inch are left at the moment, but they won't be there long, I don't think. The butterfly duet punch is leaving. The small bloom punch is leaving. That's been reduced now to £7.20. That's a really good deal. Tina's watching. Hi Tina, nice to have you. Quite a few of the label punches are going. I'm hoping that I can get this all on for you. So the timeless label, which I use a lot, the classic label, which I use all the time, is going. The banner triple punch, and the scalloped tag topper punches are both going, and the story label punch is going. That one has been reduced to £6.80, which is a steal for our punches. If you've got any, you know what brilliant quality they are. So getting them reduced is really good. I'm sad to see the dog builder going. I'm not a cat person, I'm a dog person, and the dog is going. The perennial flower is going, as is the umbrella builder, the vases builder, and the apple builder. The apple builder punch, £4.25. Now, you might not use it loads of times, you might not use it every week even, but for £4.25 you can't go wrong, can you? And if you ever make teacher gifts or you do crafting with children, or frankly with anybody else, our punches are brilliant, and for £4.25 I reckon that's a really good investment. Faye can't believe how many punches are going. Me neither, Faye, but we are getting lots of new ones, so that's okay. The confetti flowers border punch is going. I don't have this one and I kept looking at it all year. I guess I won't be getting it now. But it cuts out a flower pattern, and of course you get left with these pretty little flowers as well. And a bit of a shock horror on just a few of the dies. I mean, there are various dies going, but the ones that really shocked me that are going are the layering ovals. They've sold out already, and the layering squares. Now, we are getting some new layer punches in the catalogue, and we will be left with some that are other dies as well that will layer together, so it's not like we're not going to have anything, but these are going. If you haven't got them and you wished you had, be quick and get the layering squares. The layering circles are remaining, so although we're losing our circle punches, we have got the layering circles dies. So that's something. And the other two, which I was really shocked to see are going, are the stitched nested labels. That's this kind of elongated hexagon shape. And the stitched shapes. These were, I think, the first stitched dies we had. And I have used and used and used and used mine. But I guess other things have superseded them. And yeah, they're going. So stitched shapes, stitched nested labels. They are going. And I'm just going to run through a few of the embossing folders and then I'm going to call that it, because I'm a bit sad about the embossing folders. There are some beautiful new ones coming, but some of my favourites are leaving. Dainty Diamonds. This is such a pretty folder, and this is going. I need to start using it before I can't. The Lace 3D. This is astonishing when you actually see it done. There's so much detail in it, and that's reduced as well to £8.33. I haven't got this one, Absolutely Argyle, but look at that, £5.55. That's a big reduction. Again, I haven't got these, but these little details ones, that's 2 narrow embossing folders, and they're reduced to £4.50. Some really good reductions here. Rosie's sad about the stitched shapes too. Yeah, me too. Sandy's here. Hi Sandy, it doesn't matter that you're late, you haven't missed anything craft wise. Old World Paper is going, although we're getting a new one which is not entirely dissimilar. It has a similar kind of effect. But Pinewood Planks is going. I was upset about that. I was upset about Scripty going, as is Antriana. Yep, I am too. And Subtle. I use the Subtle one ever such a lot, so that's going. The Seabed one is going too, which I'm really sad about, because the seashells are staying and the whale punch and the whale stamps are staying, but the Seabed one is going. And 2 more that I use and use. Woodland, this one with the beautiful birch trees, and the Tin Tile embossing folder, which again I've used and used. So yeah, a bit of a shocker there. But I tell myself every time that for all the products that go, there will be new ones, and if nothing ever went, I would never be able to buy anything new because I'd have nowhere to put it, and I have, you know, it would just be impossible to manage really if nothing else ever went. So I allow myself to be sad for a few hours, and then I pull myself together and start getting excited about the new things. Now, if you would like to order from me, let me put my online shop details down. Again, this is something else that I was going to have ready for you, and I'm just going to flash it in front of the screen, but unfortunately the writing out the customs form in the post office man, having to do it 3 times, put paid to that. Okay, so you will find my online shop at sallybowman.stampinup, and remember there's no G, Stampin Up, stampingup.net. Okay. And be sure, if your order is over £35, be sure to include the host code for the month. Now, this is always in a post on my Facebook page here. So once we finish today, you can go up to the top and have a look. And I pin it to the top. So it's the very first post on my page all the time. And that's the up-to-date one. If you shop with me, I get a notification that you've done so. And if you've added in the host code, as long as your order was £35 of products or more, then I send you a little something next month. Shopping in my online shop is by far the best way to shop at the moment. Let's say you think, oh, you'll get me to order for you. You're typing out an email. Even if you're typing it out now, I'm not going to see it until I finish doing this session and I've cleared up. And then I've got to do anything else I've got to do. Then I've got to go online. In that hour or 2 hours, those items may have gone. So it's much, much better to shop online yourself. Everything will get sent to you at home. You will get it quicker that way than if I order it for you. And the other thing is that the stock showing is up to date. So if you can see something on screen, it's in the warehouse for you. And then as long as you get to checkout and it's still there, then you will get those items. So do shop online with me if you possibly can. Of course, I am happy to place orders for you. My last order before I take my break is going in about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then I'll be doing another one on the 9th of April, but I don't anticipate doing any group orders, so that's where I group lots of my customers' orders together and put them all in together until the 9th of April. So again, that's a really good reason for shopping online. And I won't really be answering emails during my holiday because I think I need a break. So that's kind of a long way around of saying you can shop here, all the discounts will be shown, the stock levels will be consistent, and that way you won't be sad because you can't get the things you really want before they sell out. Random question, Sally. What goes with Calypso Coral? Lots of the greens go really nicely with Calypso Coral. Just Jade, I like Mango Melody, Night of Navy. How many options do you need, Rosie? Jackie's using her stitched shapes all the time. She can't believe in the subtle embossing fold. The subtle embossing folder is going. Jackie's asking a demonstrator question, so I'm not going to answer that now, Jackie, about the shop link working even if you don't have DBWS. You would have to go in and read about DBWS, I'm afraid, because I know how it works for me. DBWS, for those of you that aren't demonstrators, are our web services which Stampin' Up provide for us if we opt in for them. So I know how it works for me, Jackie. I'm not an expert off the top of my head at how it works if you don't have it. So I'm really sorry. Have a look at the guidance online and have a chat to your upline if that doesn't make sense. So I hope I'm not being unhelpful with that. It's not really a subject for here. Rosie says that's enough colours. Thank you. That's okay, Rosie. Now, Coral is in the Simply Citrus card kit. So I've been thinking about colours, and that's how I was able to rattle them off the top of my head, plus a few extra greens. Belinda's saying grey too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, grey would be lovely. Okay, so here is my kit. So look at this. I haven't even taken the cellophane off. So I'm going to cut that with my scissors. This is the first time I've ever done a live unboxing. My daughter watches them all the time for all kinds of things. And I thought at first it was a slightly weird thing to do. Like, you know, opening your shopping for the world to see. But, but she tells me it's very popular. So I thought it would be quite fun. Okay, Rosie says thank you. Now she's undivided. Okay. Oh, undivided. I thought you meant we got your undivided attention, Rosie, but actually you meant undecided. Okay. So this is the box. It comes in a really nice box. Belinda's already said that she made up the kit, put the cards back in the box, decorated it with some pretty ribbon and things, and then she gave it as a gift, which is a lovely thing to do. It's got lemons and lemon blossom and leaves on the box, so that's really nice. That's printed. So inside, what have we got? Well, we've got a mini ink pad. This is Night of Navy. We've got a little stamp set. I'll show you more detail on that in a minute, but we've got a lemon, a lemon slice, some leaves, some lemon blossom, and then some sentiments. One says way to go, just a note, hello sunshine, and thanks for being you. And then everything else is kind of shrink wrapped in here, I'm guessing so it doesn't rattle around and get damaged. Let me see if I can get that out without bashing my camera. Now, something a lot of people don't know about me is that I lived in Monaco for 2 years, and there are so many citrus trees. A lot of the roads in Monaco, and actually in many towns in the south of France, are lined with citrus trees, and they fruit in the winter. So January, February, March time, the trees are hung with fruit. And then when they blossom, you've got this beautiful scent of blossom in the air. It feels so exotic. Really, really lovely. Okay, so this is then what else is in the kit. So we've got a really big sheet of dimensionals, always useful. I've got envelopes, and look at the pretty envelopes. I think they're all the same. Yes, they are. And this kit makes... I can't remember how many. Let me count the envelopes. I'm trying to... Oh no, they're not all the same. Look at that. Must tell me inside how many this makes. 15 cards. Okay, so I can make 3 each of 5 designs if I follow the instructions. So I've got envelopes with lemons inside, and I've got envelopes with beautiful bright, this is Mango Melody, spotty inside. That's printed, so they're really beautiful. Rosie is saying that anything from Belinda would be gorgeous, and her birthday is the 5th of June. I agree with that, Rosie. Belinda's saying she's got some pictures of what she did with this kit and she'll post them later. That would be fabulous, Belinda, thank you. Rosie loves the envelopes. Yes, I do too. Okay, now we've got card bases. So these are all printed. So we are going to have, I'm guessing, 3 of each design. So this one has got those beautiful lemons printed on the front with a Night of Navy on the back. They're white inside. They're scored, so that's easy to fold. They're not a bad weight at all. That will stand like that or stand like that. So I've got 3 of those. I've got 3 of these in Calypso Coral, so we've got spots on the front and then a plain back, again white on the other side. 3 in Just Jade, one of my absolute favourite colours, with a spotty front and plain on the back and a white inside. 3 in Garden Green, I don't know how to describe that, streaks or diagonal stripes, white inside. And 3 with a similar pattern in Mango Melody. This beautiful, beautiful warm orange. I've also got a big sheet of sticky dots, so that's handy. So the glue is provided basically. And then I've got lots and lots of die cuts and some twine and bits. I'll get those out, and a block. So this is a little bit different to the blocks that are in the catalogue. It's a slightly more economical style of block, which means that they can include it and still keep the kit at a reasonable price, but perfectly nice, engraved on the side, a good weight, nice rounded corners. So yeah, nice block, I like that. Rosie says, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Sandy's loving it. Good, 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 good. All right, so we've got this twine, which is white and Calypso Coral. There's lots of that. Then we've got, actually, let me pull in one of these card bases with a dark colour on it. Got these gorgeous little flowers. These are very sweet. There's lots of these. I can't tell you how many, but there's lots. So they're slightly cupped. I think they're slightly pearlized as well. Very, very sweet. Rosie says the Stampin' Up! Kits are always generous. They are. You always get lots of stuff. You've normally got extras and bits and pieces left over. So So I've got 2 sheets of die cut labels, I think 2 sheets, 3 sheets of die cut labels. That's 15 labels, there's 5 on a sheet. And I don't know if you can see, let me try and get that into the picture. They are stitched around the edges. So there are circles, hexagons, and sort of a banner. So we'll be using those in a minute. Then we've got some printed banners. I've got 3 sheets like this, and on each sheet I've got 5 pieces, so banners and pieces as well. So they just pop out. These have been pre-die cut, so you don't need to do anything fancy with them. So we've got one like that, then there's a banner shape. I should be doing this over a plain background, shouldn't I? There we go, like that. Belinda's saying that the block is a decent weight anyway, but also useful to keep as a palette for watercolouring. Yeah, that's a really good idea. So even if you've got blocks, an extra one for that kind of use is never a bad thing. So that's the pieces. So I've got 3 sets like this. So I don't have to do any cutting or fiddly measuring or anything for those. And then I've got probably 3 sheets, I think, of these. Yeah, this is the last thing to show you, 3 sheets of these. So again, got some layers all printed ready. And these are on cardstock. I would say it's about Whisper White, if you know Whisper White card, about the standard Whisper White weight, maybe slightly heavier, but it's perfectly nice. It's not flimsy paper. So 3 sets like this. So why might you like a kit? Well, there's lots of reasons. Sometimes it's nice just to have everything provided for you, to not have to think about what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, to not have to buy all the separate materials, and to just have had somebody else do the thinking. Sometimes if I'm tired or if I've had a really hectic week, I want to do crafting, but I'm not feeling very creative, so a kit is perfect for that. It's also a really good jumping off point. What I often do with a kit is I'll make one of each of the designs and then I'll use the bits to make a whole series of other designs. And this kind of gets me going and gets me thinking, and as I'm making, I'm coming up with all kinds of ideas. Another reason that they can be really nice is they make the most brilliant presents. If you've got an all-inclusive kit, that means everything is in it. You don't need to add anything, possibly a pair of scissors, because I don't think you're going to break the twine, but that's all. Everything else is in here. You've got the ink, you've got the stamps, you've got the block, you've got the adhesives. You don't need to add anything except scissors. So they're lovely for somebody that you think might enjoy crafting but who doesn't craft or who hasn't got very much stuff. Lovely presents as well. If you're going away on holiday when we're allowed to go again, these are brilliant to take with you because they've got everything and it all packs into that little box. So all you've got to do is take the box with you, and when it's time to clear up, just pop it all in the box. I've done things like this even on the tray in an aeroplane because you really don't need very much space. I've done them in waiting rooms for places, all over the place, coffee shops. So they're great because you've just got to grab that box and go, and you've got some crafting with you. And you know, if anybody needs to go into hospital or is recuperating from something, again, it doesn't take a lot of space. Everything is there for you. They are just fantastic. And the other reason is they're lovely. The projects are lovely. So why wouldn't you want to make them up? Sandy's saying it was a long time and a lot of kits before she realised that they were glue dots. Rosie's agreeing that they make great gifts. Yeah, they really do, Rosie. So the other thing you get in the kits is you'll get a leaflet. So I've got a full colour picture on the front with all the projects that they're going to teach me to make. And then inside, I've got each individual project shown again with its own photograph in a bigger scale. And then these little numbers with lines. So the line is taking me to where that number is relevant, and then I've got kind of a key inside here. So here are the steps. So inside the front cover, It tells me what's in the kit. It gives me some tips, which I'll read in a second. It tells me the coordinating colours. So if I really love a particular colour combination, I know what it was. Or if I've got bits and pieces in my craft room I want to add, I know which colours will coordinate. And it also tells me where to see a video on YouTube about this kit. So lots of extra information here. And then down here, these are the little instruction steps. So if I look at this first one here, so I need to do number 2 here and here. So step 2 is adhere using adhesive dots. So that little flower and this green banner, they're suggesting I use the sticky dots for them, for instance. Then I've got another line leading to here and number 1 against it. Number 1 is Stampin' Night of Navy ink. Number 3 is for the white hexagon. It says adhere using Stampin' Dimensionals. Well, we know we've got those in the box as well. Number 4, tie the twine in a bow and adhere using an adhesive dot. Okay, and then underneath that it tells me how much twine, 25 inches or 63 centimetres of twine cut in half. And there is usually, have we got one on here? Sometimes they put a ruler, print a ruler on here. I don't think there is one, but that's okay because I can do that. And there's one more, there's this number 6, which isn't on that one. It must be on one of the other cards. Let's find it. I probably missed it. Oh, here we go, number 6 on this card. Instruction 6, wrap the twine twice around the panel, then tie in a bow. So very, very straightforward. There's pictures and there's written instructions too. Okay, so the tips are: Night of Navy ink dry slowly to avoid smearing. Let the ink dry for a few minutes after stamping before touching it. Okay. Don't worry about trying to line up the stamped images perfectly over the printed images. They're designed to be slightly offset. Okay, so I'm guessing that that is on here, for instance. That's going to be interesting because we're stamping over the top to give an outline to the printed piece there. Right, I think it's time to get going and make something. So I'm just going to work my way through. I think we'll start with that one. Let me open my ink pad first. So Belinda's saying that she keeps the spare bits and pieces, spare glue dots and things. I'm guessing they're great for sticking ribbon. Yes, they are. And Rosie's talking about bits left over. There always are bits left over. You can also identify what colours they are from that list. I think that's probably what Rosie was referring to. So I'm just opening up my ink pad here. There we go. Okay, that's really, really well shut. So that's my ink pad. So it's a felt ink pad. That means I'm going to need to be a little bit firmer with it than I might with the spongy ink pads that I'm used to. That's okay. And if you've got a new stamper, they won't know the difference anyway. So that's absolutely fine. And because it's quite small, I will probably end up using it to ink up the stamp that way rather than taking my stamp to the ink pad. So that's my ink pad. I'm going to put my instructions out of the way. I'm also going to have some of my tea before it goes cold, so bear with me. I can feel my throat getting dry. Okay. So I need a flowery card base. I need a white hexagon. I need a green banner. And I need some twine. How much twine do I need? 25 inches. I'll get out my ruler. So if I wrap it around my ruler all the way around, that'll be 24 inches. And then an extra inch is 25. Oops. There we are. All right, so let's get going. Now I have got a bone folder, so I am going to use that on my card base, but if I didn't, I could just run my nail across it like that. Ruth's here. Hi Ruth. Ruth says the apple punch is 10.20. It's not coming up as 4.25. That's not very good, Ruth, is it? I can't shed any light on that now, I'm afraid. because obviously I'm doing this, but I took that from the list that Stampin' Up provided us with. So, and I don't have that in front of me either, so I can't help, I'm afraid. I'll have a look at it afterwards, and I'll put an answer to that point in the comments here when I've had a look. Yeah, so that's a bit of a mystery to me. Sorry about that. You could certainly check the list, Ruth, and you could get in touch with demonstrator support. I know you're a demonstrator, so you can do that. I will have a look afterwards and see if I can work out what's going on, and I'll put an answer into your comments. Rosie's saying you can use a knife as a bone fold. You absolutely can, a table knife. Don't use something sharp and serrated. Okay, so my card base is going to go up this way. Then I'm going to stamp on my little hexagon. Okay, now what have I done with the stamp set? There we are. Just a note. That is such a useful stamp. Just a note to say thank you. Just a note to say I'm thinking of you. Just a note to say sorry. Just a note to say happy birthday. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to ink that up. And this is what I mean about taking the ink pad to the stamp. I think I've knocked the camera. I'm looking at everything on an angle, aren't you? I'm just going to move this. Look away if you get motion sick. Has that been that crooked all the time? If it has, I'm really sorry. Hopefully that's a bit better. Let me just wait for my iPad to catch up. I think that's going to be better. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better. Okay. Now, I'll just show you this. I don't know if you can see that ink is beading up on that stamp. It may stamp okay, it may not. It's not perfect, and that's because it's a new stamp. Now, if you watched my Facebook Live way back when I was talking about cleaning your stamps, I talked about this. Now, obviously, if somebody is a new stamper, they're not going to have a stamping scrub and mist, or if you give this as a present, they could use, you know, a clean, not too fluffy rag and some water. That would work. But very often with a brand new stamp, it just needs inking and stamping and inking and stamping a few times just to get the manufacturing residue off it. Now that is better, but it's still not perfect. I can see breaks in the ink. It doesn't just sit across the stamp nicely. So you can see I'm just going to ink and stamp a few times just to get all of that off. And somehow the inking and the stamping works much better than if you just clean the stamp. There we go. I think that'll probably be enough. Right, where were we? We were stamping on our white hexagon. Okay, now ideally you would be stamping on a foam mat with photopolymer stamps, but they don't give you one, so let's see how it works without it. I think it'll probably be fine, because these aren't enormous stamps. There we go, that's better. I can just recap my ink pad. There we go, my light went out, I've just put it onto charge. Okay, just a note, right, I think we're ready to put things together. That's exciting. So let me have a look. So put these on with sticky dots. Okay. I'll do that on this. I might revert to multi-purpose glue for the others just for speed, but I've just taken the backing off a sticky dot. And then I press my banner on and the dot comes off. So let's just do that again. Oh, that one. I've pulled the whole thing off, so I'll stick it on and then I'll take the paper off. There we go. I think I've done the same there. Never mind. Oh, Rosie, that's a good tip. Rosie's saying if you Google this set, so you Googled Stampin' Up Simply Citrus, you can usually find a printout for a stamp case, and it's nice to keep the stamp set in your collection. Absolutely. I do keep the stamp sets from kits, and the stamp boxes which are in the catalogue, I've always got a few stamp boxes by me, and then I can keep them in a box and they just stack on the shelf next to all my other stamp sets. But getting an insert to print off is a really good idea. And Jackie's saying it's a great tip to line up the stamp with the lines on the grid paper, then put it on the block. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that, Jackie, did I? I'll do a demonstration in just a sec, in case anybody missed that. Thank you for pointing it out. Right, so my banner is going to go across here. So I'm lining up my card with my grid as well to try and help me line everything up straight. Okay. And then I need my twine. So what am I doing with the twine? I don't think I'm doing anything fancy. Tying it in a bow and adhering it with an adhesive dot. Okay, so I've got my 25 inches of twine, and it says underneath the photograph to cut it in half. So when I tie a bow, I'm going to have a kind of a double strand thing going on. So there's my bow. There's lots of twine. I probably didn't even need as much as that. So I've got plenty to play with there. So that's going to go on there. I'm just seeing if they've got any more instructions, because I'm trying to follow this exactly. Yeah, idea using an adhesive dot. These little things will stick anything. Okay, I'm going to stick that on the bow, and then I'm going to stick the bow in place in a minute, because I think I will position it more easily if I've got this piece on first. So that is supposed to have dimensionals on it. Belinda likes that tip too, Rosie, thank you. Belinda found the glue dots fiddly with her arthritic hands, but sharp pointed tweezers did the trick. Excellent, good tip there, Belinda. And the, if I can find mine, the Take Your Pick tool has a point on one end of it here. This is one of the attachments. I've got my ball tool in at the moment, but if I swap them over, there we go. So that pointy tip there will also go underneath things. It'll go underneath the paper on dimensionals. It'll also work for the glue dot backing. One more in the middle there. Okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to bring in my bow, take off the backing of that little glue dot, and then just tuck it in right up and slightly underneath there. There we go. And then the final touch are some of these little flowers. They've used 5 on here. Now there's probably so many that it doesn't matter that you have to count them, but I will try and do what it says on the instructions, and you can see exactly what it would look like. So how many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll pop one back. These really are so sweet. So where are my glue dots? There they are. Things still aren't straight for you, are they? Let me just see if I can alter this camera just a tiny bit more. Okay, I'm going to give that up. I don't know if I've made that better or worse, really. So I'm actually going to pop the glue dots down, I think, for this. And then take the backing off and add the flower. Rosie says, have I noticed these are thicker than the usual dimensionals, which she quite likes? Yes, they are very slightly thicker, aren't they? I think whoever puts the kit together for Stampin' Up obviously has specifications they work to, and they are very slightly different. So yeah, they are fractionally thicker. They certainly work really well. They're nice and sticky. The backing came off them really easily. So I've just taken the backing off a couple of those glue dots. I'm just going to stick the flowers on, which is holding them really nicely. So that's my finished card. That's really pretty. I do like that. Hoping you can see these little tiny flowers I've dotted on here. Really beautiful. And then of course I have an envelope which is going to coordinate really nicely. If I can find it under all the other stuff. There we go. There we go. Really nice. I'm drinking tea again. Rosie's saying it's pretty and understated. Yes, it is, isn't it? There's a lot of detail there, but it doesn't jump out at you. It's very, very subtle. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's make something else. Got bits of glue dot and dimensional backing everywhere. Let me just put those in the bin. Okay, so we'll go with this one next, which is really bright and cheerful. So I've got a coral card base, and then I need a banner like that. I need a blue banner, one of those lovely lemon printed pieces. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. And then we want some twine. We want 16 inches of twine. 12 and 4 is 16. Okay, so I need to stamp Hello Sunshine. Take that one off. Right, so what Jackie was saying about using grid paper to line up the stamps, yeah, every craft room needs grid paper. It lasts through several projects. You don't have to change it every time you stamp. You can use both sides because it's thick enough that the ink doesn't come through. So here, what I've done here, so I've got my stamp the right way up, so the flat side is on top, and I'm just lining up the letters with one of the lines on the grid. Oops, it's a really sticky stamp because it's brand new. There we are. And then I bring in my block. I also line up my block with one of the lines on the grid. I try and get it so the stamp is roughly in the center of the block, like that, and then just press it down. The stamp will come up, and I know that that is really straight now, so when I'm stamping, if I line up the edges of the block with the lines on my grid paper, my words will be straight. Rosie loves the card already, and I haven't even stuck it down. Pam says it looks like a William Morris pattern. You're right, it really does, doesn't it? Thank you, Rosie. Rosie likes my top. She says I have such pretty clothes. I'll let you into a secret, Rosie. I inherited about 18 months ago several large bags of clothes from one of my sisters. I have two sisters, and this particular sister mostly wears kind of autumn colours. She wears a lot of brown and rust and dark green and grey, and those aren't really my colours. I like bright colours much more, but there were a few absolute gems in these bags of clothes that she didn't want anymore. She also has a huge amount of clothes. She buys a lot of clothes. She doesn't always wear her clothes a lot. She doesn't have children, that's probably why she's able to buy lots of clothes. And anyway, I was absolutely delighted, and there were two of these jumpers which are really pretty. They've got like stripy sleeves and flowery fronts. So there's one in these shades of sort of blue, and then I've got another one which you probably also see me wear, which is pinks and reds, and I just think they're lovely. And even with the cuffs turned back, the inside is pretty too. So I do absolutely love them. Thank you for noticing. Okay, so Chris is saying thanks for the tips. She needs to go now. See you again. See you again, Chris. You can always come back and watch the rest on the catch up on the replay. So if you'd like to do that, you carry on. Lovely to have you. Bye bye. Okay, I don't think I've missed any other comments. Sometimes they all come in quickly and I miss things. Rosie's saying her sister has beautiful clothes, but it's a totally different size. She likes the cuffs especially. Yeah, me too, Rosie. The sleeves were too long. I haven't got very long arms, but I was delighted to see that I can just turn it back and it's really pretty underneath instead of just having like a manky old seam showing. Right, okay, let me get on, otherwise we'll be here all afternoon. Honestly, I could talk for England, couldn't I? So I wonder if I'm going to have the same thing with this stamp, that I just need to clean it a couple of times. Let's see. So sometimes they're fine and they've got no sort of residue on them at all. Other times they need a bit of a clean. This one I think needs a bit of a clean as well. So I'm just going to quickly do that. It's not as... the ink isn't beading up as much as it did on the first stamp, so let's try it just once and then go for it, I think. It's a lovely juicy ink pad, this one as well. Very pleased with it. Okay. So I'll line up my banner with one of the lines on my grid paper. And then line up my block straight. And of course with photopolymer stamps you can see straight through to what you're stamping on, which makes life so much easier. Okay, and then this one, this is going to be interesting. I'm actually going to bring in a couple of my own blocks simply so I don't have to keep swapping around. Oops. Okay, did you see me knock my light over? There we go. Okay, it's like live television, isn't it? Anything could happen. Okay, so I'm going to need the lemon and I'm going to need the leaves. And then the idea is that I'm going to add an outline around the leaves on here and around the lemons. And they say in the instructions that they're not meant to be an exact fit. So not to worry about getting them super straight. I think it's supposed to go, yeah, that way it's much better. So there is the two ends of the lemon are not identical. Okay, so there's one. It also stamps those little spots on there, quite sweet, aren't they? So you've got a blunt end and a pointy end on the lemon, so I am paying attention to that. At least it doesn't involve pets or children. No, that is true, Rosie. With two children of my own, who I love dearly, I do not want to work with children. I did used to help out in their primary school, so I spent about 9 years helping in the primary school every week, which I did really enjoy, but it's not something I've ever wanted to pursue as a career. It changes the lemon so much, says Rosie, doesn't it just? Ooh, that one's a bit out, but that's okay, because when I look on my instructions, see, there's a gap there, so that's fine. I mean, they aren't a perfect fit. You can't make it a perfect fit, I don't think, so I'm certainly not going to stress about that. But it's really interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure stamping an outline on printed paper would have occurred to me. So it's quite interesting to do that. So that's the leaves. This one is round the other way. And I've just got this little tiny bit that's sort of off the edge. I can't see it actually unless I get my eyes right over it. There we go. So Rosie's saying amazing. Yeah, it really is very different, isn't it, having done that? I like that a lot. Okay, now I wonder if I think they probably have popped that up on... Have they popped it up on dimensionals? I'm just trying to see which is the dimensionals instruction. Number 3. No, they haven't. They've stuck it flat. Okay, so we will stick flat. Now I am going to bring in my glue here just because that's going to be quicker than taking the backings off all those sticky dots. But you can see from the first card that that would have worked beautifully. And if I didn't have this kind of glue, that would be absolutely a-okay. But given that I do, I'm going to use it just for a little bit of speed this afternoon. Ooh, and I've just spotted I'm supposed to tie the twine round. Never mind, let's just do that quickly. So I've got the glue on there, so that might be interesting, but let's see what I can do. Okay. Am I the only one that does things like this? Okay. So my bow's going to be on the other side just because that's the way I've put the twine round, but I'm customizing it already. Never mind. There we go. I think, because I don't think I've got enough to tie a bow, but I don't mind that. So I'm now going to tie a bow. I could have just stuck that bow on actually, couldn't I? But it is quite nice wrapped around. So this would be much easier if you tied the bow around the card before you attached the card to your card base. So that would be my top tip. Rosie says she does it all the time. Oh, well, I'm in good company then, Rosie. That makes me feel better. Okay. And then I've got my blue banner, which just goes flat, but then my stamped banner is going to be popped up on dimensionals. I like the way this extends to the side. And of course, the other thing about these kinds of designs is that they can give you an idea for your own card designs. I've talked before about seeing cards that I really like and turning them into a sketch which I keep for reference. When I've stuck this last piece on, I'll show you what I mean for this card, because I do really like this actually. I like that long banner extending out. Okay, just stick this on. So I've got some little flowers to go on there, but other than that the card is done. So if I wanted to change this into a sketch, I do have a notebook that I keep them in, but just bring in some paper. So, oops, I would just sketch out my card base first of all, which is just a rectangle. I never use a ruler, so my sketchbook is messy, but it means that I just sit and quickly sketch something rather than thinking I don't have time to get out a ruler and get out a rubber and make it all beautiful. So that's my card base, and then we've got a big panel here which has been offset, so it's not central. Now theirs has got the corners taken out and all sorts, but I just make very simple shapes, and I could change this any way I liked. I could take the corners out, I could use a decorative corner punch, I could make it a tag, I could make a fancy top on it and turn it into a tag instead of a rectangle. I could make it an oval instead of a rectangle, so it's just a guideline, and from that you can make infinite variations. And then I've got this piece here. I'll draw it as a hexagon because that's not too complicated a shape. And having said I don't rub out, I will just rub that line out there. There we go. And then we've got a banner coming out. There we go. Now ideally you draw the shape that's in the foreground first, and then you don't have to do any of this fiddly rubbing out. But I actually find it easiest to start with the biggest shapes. There we go. And then we've got a bow here, haven't we? Sometimes I draw in the bows, sometimes I don't. And then I usually just do a wiggly line to show me that that's had a sentiment on it. Rosie says that sketches are her lifeblood. She can't do colour challenges. So Rosie does sketches all the time from cards. So there we go. That is my very simple rough and ready sketch from this card. But I can keep that, and then as I said, I can change it in so many different ways. Lots of card sketches will work the other way round. So if I turn it this way, actually, if I turn these into banners, I've got a completely different looking card that's a landscape format there. Changing the colours, changing some of the shapes, adding an extra layer, all those things are kind of things that you can just do once you've got a basic layout. So there we go. I just need a few little flowers on this. Find those pesky glue dots. They're not pesky actually, they're just a little bit small. There we go. think they've used three flowers on this. I realise now I'm already going off-piste. I'm not putting mine where they've put theirs at all, but that's okay. Because you're allowed to not follow the instructions exactly. So I know I said I usually make one that's exactly like the one in the leaflet, but that's obviously not true because I seem to be incapable of actually doing them exactly like the leaflet. This glue dot is more concerned with sticking to my finger than anything else. Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, so I tried to follow the sketch, but I couldn't quite do it. Belinda says sketches are great. Her book is filling out fast. That's a tip you learned from me. Well, I'm very pleased to hear it, Belinda, and I learnt it from somebody else too. So there's nothing new out there, is there? But it's always nice to pass on things that you find helpful. So there we go. So that one is done. This is pretty. It's so cheerful with those colours. Let me find an envelope to put next to it. I think probably the same envelope I would put with that one. Oh, I'm wearing bits of glue dot. Did you notice that then? I just saw it flash up as my iPad caught up. And I realise I'm wearing bits of it. So I'm just pulling together the bits for the next card while you look at that one. Okay, I'm going to move on. Rosie says, look on Pinterest and Jan Brown. Yeah, for sketches, Rosie. Yes, I do that sometimes. There are lots and lots and lots of sketches out there. Okay, so this is the next card. So kind of similar layout to this, in that everything's offset, but a little bit different. Ooh, no sound. No sound for Antriana. Okay. Is anybody else having problems with the sound? I guess if you can't hear me, you won't be able to know that I'm asking you. But if anyone's finding the sound is okay, could you type in a couple of comments so we can see? That would be really helpful for Antriana. Oh, it's back. Oh, great. It could be your phone. Well, I hope it is Antriana in the nicest possible way. Because I really hope it's not mine, but I'm sorry if it's yours. Thank you, Rosie. That's really helpful. That's great. Thank you. Rosie's saying it's a happy card. Ruth saying sounds okay for her. Hopefully we've resolved it. I do hope so. Okay, I need 14 inches of twine. I'm actually going to measure that on my grid paper. That's something else you can use your grid paper for. Thank you, Antriana. I'm glad I didn't offend you. Right, now this time I'm going to remember to tie the twine around first, because it is much easier if you haven't got glue on the back of your piece when you're trying to tie the twine round. And it sounds okay for Faye as well. Brilliant. I'm really sorry, Antriana. I think it might have been you, but you're back, which is the most important thing. Okay, that's a bit of a sideways bow. I can always stick a glue dot under that if it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so that one I'm going to glue up towards the top, towards the left. And again, I'm using my multi-purpose glue just because that's going to be quicker than taking the backs off those little glue dots. Sandy did notice me wearing one. It may not be the last time today, Sandy, I'll just warn you. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this little hexagon. Thanks for being you, which is a nice thing to say to anybody. So I'm just reaching for another block just for speed, just to save me having to constantly take stamps on and off blocks. But the block that is provided is really nice. It's easy to use. I'm getting beautiful results from it. So even though it's not the ones that we're used to, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm just looking at this to see if that ink is beading up. I think that's okay actually. We'll go for it, I think. There we go. Thanks for being you. And that's going to go up on dimensionals. So I'm going to make up the rest of the cards in this kit, hopefully while I'm off next week, because I may be off work, but you didn't really think I was going to not be crafting, did you? Of course I'm going to craft. And I'll be putting the cards I make up on my Facebook page. So over the next few weeks you will see these. And I am going to have a go at doing some variations as well. So I won't just do three the same of each design. I actually find it quite hard to do even 2 the same. Even if I've made a design I really like and I think I'll do it again, I always end up changing it slightly. Sandy's laughing. I assume you're laughing at the fact that I'm crafting even though I'm not going to be at work. Okay, and we need some of those little flowers again. Ooh, they're escaping all over my desk. Good thing there's plenty. Oops. I think the flowers are multiplying actually. I'm sure I only took 3 out of the bag and I've now got 4. Perhaps if I leave them there a little bit longer I'll have even more. Okay, so that's card 3, and that has to have the spotty lined envelope, I think. Okay, I'm going to pull together the bits for the next one while you're looking at that one. Oh, this one needs 25 inches of twine. That's lots. Oh, Rosie's saying the centres are calling for mini pearls. Yes. Well, that's an interesting thought, Rosie. I'm going to have to do that on some of the subsequent cards I do, aren't I? Pull out my pearls and add them. Okay, so we're going to go for this one now. And this one looks like I'm going to be stamping onto the printed patterns again. So I'm just reaching for another block. I've got my leaves out, but I'm going to need the slice of lemon here. Belinda's saying the flowers colour up quite well with blends too. She discovered that when she played with the spares. Oh, that's interesting. So the little flowers that are now pearly white, Belinda has used her blend, Stampin' Blends markers on. Because they're alcohol ink, they will permanently colour these. Well, that's something I'm definitely going to have to try as well, Belinda. Thank you for that idea. Rosie's saying, oh, the variations. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay, so for this one, I've got this Just Jade base. I love Just Jade. It's such a beautiful colour. And I've got a banner, and I've got a circle, and I've got my twine cut to size. So I'm now just going to stamp on here. This stamp's little, so I think I can actually stamp that way. Oh, this might be more of a challenge because I've got to get the segments right as well. Okay. Not too bad. So this is a bit more of a challenge, but it's okay. Actually, this stamp needs cleaning. Just going to do that as well. Yeah, Rosie likes that tip too, Belinda. Thank you for the come on for stamping, colouring the flowers using your stamping blends. Okay, I've just cleaned this little slice of lemon stamp. Thank you, Adriana. Yeah, it was a challenge. So I'm putting the division between the segments at kind of 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock and hoping that that will help me. And I can't get my head exactly over it either because the camera's in the way. Okay, that one's a little bit wonky. Rosie's saying Stamp-A-Majig. Absolutely, Rosie. Or even Stamparatus, because the Stamp-A-Majig is long retired. I did keep mine, but lots of people don't have them. Okay. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy's saying well done on the segments too. Actually, I think that was the first one was the best one. I haven't done, oh, that one's okay. I haven't done quite as well with a couple of them, but it's okay because the instructions say not to worry if they're not exact. So I'm going to go with that. Last one. There's a lot of leaves on this as well. There we go. I like a challenge. Lego and a piece of plastic sheet. I'm not sure how the Lego fits in, Rosie. You're going to have to explain that one to me. Maybe I just don't have a vivid enough imagination. So these, I'm just working out where the pairing is, if you see what I mean, because on the stamp I've got a large leaf and a small leaf. So I'm just getting a pair of leaves on the little printed piece and then stamping on them. I do like this actually. It does make it look really beautiful with this navy outline. Oh, to make a handle for the Stamp-A-Majig. Thank you, Rosie. Okay. So the Stamp-A-Majig, for those of you that do not know, is a stamp placement tool that was retired, I don't know how many years ago, 3 or 4 years ago maybe. It worked really, really well. It was fiendishly difficult to explain to people how to use, despite the fact that it's actually not difficult in concept and not difficult to use. And people either loved it or couldn't get to grips with it at all. Sandy says, you play with the Lego while someone else does the stamping for you. Right, now I understand, Sandy. And Rosie is amazing with the Stamparatus. It's always been one of her favourite tools. I don't think she was ever without it. I swear, even when you go out to dinner, you take your Stamparatus with you. Stamp-A-Majig with you, Rosie. Is that true? Or am I just spreading vicious rumours? And Rosie's things are always beautifully lined up as a result. Yeah, she says it was a brilliant piece of kit. Yeah, people who loved it really loved it. I haven't offended Rosie, good. If you're getting bored with watching me stamp these leaves, do say, won't you? Because there's a lot of them on here and I could always set it aside and glue it later when I finish stamping the leaves. Belinda is welded to her Stamparatus. She absolutely loves it. It is a brilliant piece of kit, Belinda. I like it much more than the oh gosh, brain's gone. What's it called? Stamp-A-Majig, dear heaven. I like it more than the Stamp-A-Majig. I think it's easier to use. It's certainly easier to explain to other people how to use it, I think. Rosie likes it, but it's not as quick. That is true, Rosie. If you got to grips with the Stamp-A-Majig, it's definitely quicker. Rosie's saying that she sold lots of Stamp-A-Majigs at somebody else's classes, which she used to go to back in the days when we could have classes face to face. Because Rosie would always be using hers and it worked so well for her. I think that's true, Rosie. I'm sure it did. Okay, I'm just doing these last little ones off the edges. Nobody said, for goodness sake, stop stamping the leaves. I'm fed up with it, so I've just carried on. Yeah, Rosie's saying it was a low entry price tool. Oh, that one's not very straight, never mind. And great for beginners. Yeah, that's true, Rosie, that's true. Okay, so that one, I don't know what I did. That one's really out, but don't worry because there's going to be some flowers going on this card, so I think one is going to go just there. Okay, so this is a landscape format card. So I've got my fold at the top. Okay, so the twine is going to go all the way around the card onto the inside and everything, so I can stick this flat without having to lift it up and tie twine around it. Where's that manky leaf? There. I'm going to put that at the bottom, I think, and then I'll just put a flower over it. Andriana says it's like therapy watching me stamp. Thank you, Andriana. There's something very soothing, isn't there, about watching people do things like that. I quite like watching people chop vegetables, which probably makes me very weird. But there you go. Okay. Rosie, you're very kind. Thank you. She's saying I'm good at stamping. I have my moments. Equally, I have my moments when I mess up, as we all do, so... Oh, Jackie missed the middle because her mum phoned. She's going to catch up on replay. I'm glad you could talk to your mum, Jackie, though. There we go. I'm not tying this very well. I did measure the thread, but either I've measured it wrong or the measurements on the instructions weren't quite as generous as I was expecting them to be. But that's okay. There we go. That's all on. Next thing to do is to attach the banner over the top. So you may not have seen, Jackie, but I've gone back to my multi-purpose glue just for speed. The mini glue dots they provide with the kit are absolutely brilliant. They're really sticky, but I was finding that they took a little bit longer really than I have, so I'm using this now. Andriana's saying she'd only have one good one if she was stamping all these and she'd have to embellish everything. I don't believe that, Andriana, but you're very kind. Okay, so now we're going to stamp this. So this one has just a note on it. So I need to put this one on a block. I think just a note is certainly one of the stamps I'll use the most in this. Okay, Ruth saying the dog punch is $4.25. Even better. That's interesting, Ruth. I'm going to go back to my list when this is finished and have a look. I was correcting my catalogue late at night last night, but they're not on the same page, which makes it slightly puzzling. However, there often have been errors in the list that Stampin' Up issue, I think simply because it's a massive job to do it. So sometimes things are just not correct on it, but thank you for putting that information out there. And I will go back and have a look at it when I've finished. And I mean, you know, a dog punch for $4.25, that's got to be good, hasn't it? I love the dog punch. There's something so hopeful about the way he's just sitting there. Okay, so I've put some dimensionals on the back of that. I've stuck that on there, and then once again a few of these little flowers. So they've used 3 of them. Sandy's saying $4.35, so I don't know if one of those is a typo, and I can't check, so I'm just reading out what comes up on the screen. Okay, so down there is where I messed up my stamping. So I'm going to put a flower on that and disguise it. Put one up there as well, and perhaps one here. Oh, Sandy says was a typo. Okay, so we're reckoning 4.25 for the dog punch. Okay, and the apple punch is more than I told you it was, apparently. And that was just the top of a sticky dot. I obviously didn't stick the whole thing down. That's better. Okay, honestly, the debris on my desk. I have to sweep the floor as well when I finish today, I think. One of my plans for next week is to clear the windowsills in my craft room, which I have folders and, you know, stuff and bits and pieces like that stored on, and to take everything off my desk and dust everything, because I have a horrible feeling that there could be whole communities of people living there that I haven't even noticed. Because, you know, if I've got the choice between crafting or dusting. I don't know which you'd choose, but you can guess which one I would choose. So there we go. That's this card. So Jackie's asking if you could colour the flowers with blends. You can, Jackie, yes. While you were on the phone to your mum, that was one of the points that Belinda made. She did it with her kit and she said it worked really well. So I'm glad you asked the question and I'm glad I know the answer. I'm just going to have some more of my tea. Jackie likes the font on these stamps. Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it? A mixture of kind of handwritten and block printing. Okay, Ruth's saying that those two things are on the same page. It's taken her this long to make the print large enough. Yeah, I meant in the catalogue, Ruth, but yes, I think you're right. I think probably on the list there. I know. I mean, for the first time ever, when I wanted to print out the list, I couldn't print it big enough. Well, I could, but it was going to be about 30 pages long or something. So I used the Excel spreadsheet function, which I've never known how to do. I've never done a spreadsheet in my life, much to my husband's horror, because he uses them every day. And he's tried to teach me several times, but Stampin' Up gave a little video link for those of you who are demonstrators, which showed us how to simplify the last chance list. It showed us how to take out the foreign language stamp sets, how to take out the column with the euros if you didn't want it in there, and various other things, how to sort it by page number, or how to sort it by all the stamps together and all the accessories together and so on. And it was a brilliant 20-minute video. I learned so much. So I then sorted my spreadsheet and printed it out, and it was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages, I think, in a bigger type, which I can read. It's still small, but it was bigger. So so that was great. Okay, so lots of people agreeing that they would craft rather than clean. Absolutely. That's why Sandy has a cleaner. Yeah, I keep suggesting I need a cleaner. My husband seems to think that's my job, but there we go. That's a whole other story. Faye loves a spreadsheet. Rosie does not. Goodness me. Okay, Jackie missed the video. She shies away from Excel, but she'll have a look. Yeah, it's on. If you click that link to the page which tells you all about the last chance list, Jackie, there's a video link there. It's kind of hidden away, and I think most of us just clicked in other places. But that video is well worth watching. Lynn used it. Yeah, good. Okay, so that's 4 cards. So I've only got one more to make, which is probably as well because I'm running much later than I'd expected to today. Okay, so this is going to be a green card base. And another one of these lovely printed bits. I need another blue banner and another label. There we go. Okay. Oh, now I can straight away see that I'm going to get to stamp some of these little tiny flowers. Isn't that just the sweetest little stamp? This one here. Teeny tiny. Garden green. Is that your favourite colour, Rosie? Garden green? Or green is your favourite colour, perhaps? I like green, and I love it outside and, you know, in the flowers and all that kind of thing. But if I was picking favourite colours, it would not be one of the colours that I picked, I must admit. Okay, so here we go. Last card of the day. So on here they've outlined the leaves again with stamping. Rosie likes all greens. Aha. I love pinks. I also love the sort of, you know, the greeny blues, or the bluey greens, I suppose, depending which way you look at it. I like the jades and Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, all of those. And I love pinks. I love Magenta Madness. What's my favourite colour? Yeah, Magenta Madness I love. I love Just Jade. I love Mango Melody as well. I do really love that bright orange. So bright colours really every time for me. Okay, Belinda notes a good suggestion this morning. If a stamp set's now sold out and just the imagery you want or can manage with it, might be worth looking to see if the French or German set is still available. That's a very good tip, Belinda. Thank you for that. And a few stamp sets have sold out already. So yes, as Belinda said, lots of them are available in other languages. And if you're not bothered about not having the words, then a picture of, oh, I don't know, let's say a tree in German is exactly the same as a picture of a tree in English. So Sandy's loving one of the new in colours, Evening Evergreen. Yeah, we can't talk about those, Sandy, other than to say they're lovely. Okay, the new colours coming in are gorgeous, but I'm not allowed to talk to you about them. I'm not allowed to show them to you or anything yet. So for those of you that are not demonstrators, I promise I will be sharing them as soon as I am allowed, and they are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Belinda likes blues. Antriana likes purples. Rosie didn't like Magenta Madness at first, but she loves it now, especially paired with black. Yeah, really dramatic when it's paired with black. Okay, so I've done some stamping on this printed thing. This is something I'm going to do a lot more of. I think I do stamp on my patterned paper sometimes, but this has really made me think how interesting it is to do that. So I've stamped outlines on the leaves. That one's not perfect, nor is that, but the instructions said it didn't have to be, so that's all right. And then I've stamped some of these little flowers. This is just such a sweet little set. And this is another really good little stamp to have in your stash for when you stick an inky fingerprint on something. I mean, maybe it never happens to any of you, but I know I do it all the time. And having a little stamp like this can be just the job for disguising it. Not a problem, Sandy. Not a problem. Rosie's saying this looks like stars. Yeah, it does look like stars. You could certainly use it as stars. You could add something sparkly to it. Go over it with Wink of Stella, maybe. That would be really nice. Okay, I need some words on my banner. Now, the one they suggest is Way to Go. I don't think that's something I would really say. So I'm going to use Hello Sunshine, which is jolly. And I could see myself sending that to somebody. Okay. Yeah, Jackie's saying it really adds to it when you stamp the leaf outlines. It really does, Jackie. You're absolutely right. Rosie likes Magenta Madness with Night of Navy, or one of the darker greys, and she didn't like it at first either. Just me then that really loves it. It is bright. There is no doubt about that. So that's going to go on there. And then my blue banner comes in. So Jackie's saying Way to Go sounds American. It sounds very American to me as well, yeah. And I am a great lover of many things American, and I've travelled in America and I do love it. I hope to be able to travel there again at some point, but Way to Go is still not something that I can see myself saying. Adriana loves Magenta Madness, and she has a nail polish that matches. That sounds really nice. Oh, I am the world's worst for looking after my nails. Many people that demonstrate online have beautiful nails. They're either very good at their own manicures or they get them done regularly and when you can. My niece actually has her own nail salon. She's been really successful. She's only young. And she does the most beautiful manicures, but I just can't take my nails being long. And so she was doing my nails for a while, but what I was finding was that I wanted to cut my nails and the manicure was still perfect. So it just didn't work very well for me. Yeah, so I'm afraid my hands are unadorned. My nails are cut very, very short and they're not decorative, so at least they're not competing with the crafting project. Rosie says she's not a pink person. That's okay, Rosie. It's okay to be a green person instead. I've got a real twist in that twine. Let me smooth it out and start again. Okay. I didn't even measure the twine for this. See, I'm really getting rebellious now. But if I needed to know how much twine, 13 inches. There we go. I don't think I used as much of that. But it's nice to give you a measurement, because if you're new to crafting and you're just not quite sure how much twine is needed, you can just follow the instructions and you know you'll be okay. Okay, so that bow just tucks underneath here with one of those little glue dots. And Triana says she has a green nail polish too. Do you have them in all the Stampin' Up colours, Triana? That's what I want to know. Alright, and then just a few of these little flowers again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Andriana's saying, yeah, she pretty much has a nail polish in every Stampin' Up colour. Good for you. Belinda says she's never had decent nails. Many years playing the piano as a kid, and then 41 years as a nurse put paid to any nail-related aspirations. Actually, it's interesting you mentioned the piano, Belinda, because I suspect that's where my love of short nails comes from, because, yeah, I played the piano, well, till I went off to university, and I couldn't take lessons as I wasn't doing music. And I still play now, although I'm out of practice, sadly. But yes, absolutely, long nails were just nothing but an annoyance playing the piano. Okay, so Jackie's saying she's got the, yeah, she's not sure the name of the kit in the purple box. She must get it out and play. Yes, that's really, really lovely, that one. I'll find it in the catalogue. I think I know the one you mean, Jackie. Let me show you so that everybody else can see it. It's this one. It's called Gorgeous Posies. Okay, so it's still available at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful. The card bases are stunning. They're all printed. The colours are beautiful. Yeah, it's a really lovely kit. I made that one up and very much enjoyed it. Okay, Rosie's not sure about green nail polish. Jitanda's here. Hello. Okay, Jackie says it's stunning. She's had a quick peek. The box is beautiful in itself. Yes, it really is. Okay, so that is my last card. Now, I've gone way over time, but most of you are still with me, so thank you very much for that. Oh, I keep hitting the phone stand too. There we go. So that's the last card. I'll leave that there for you to have a quick look at, and then I'll bring all of them in, although whether I'll be able to fit them all under my camera is another matter, but we'll see. Move these inky stamps out of the way. I've managed not to lay my arm across them so far. Let's hope that continues. Rosie's made that kit too, Jackie, she says. And the box is stunning too. Yeah, it really is. Okay, I'm going to move the envelopes out of the way and bring in the cards. I'm going to have to show them to you in 2 lots, I think. Let's show you the 2 landscape cards. It's not straight again. I keep catching my phone. I've moved my stand to try to get everything more central, but I'm not sure it's a success. Belinda's saying it was a lovely afternoon. Thank you, and have a good break. Thank you very much, Belinda. Thank you. Right, I'll show you the other 3, and then I will just say a proper goodbye to you. Okay, hoping those are all fitted on there. Thank you, Pam. Thank you for your good wishes for my week off. Yes, can't go anywhere at the moment, of course, but it will be nice to have a break. Thank you, Mary. Very kind. Okay, so I'm just going to cover you up and then just bring you back and say goodbye properly. So it'll all go blue because I buried my yellow post-its somewhere on the desk. Okay, let's see. And hopefully, oh, there we go. Am I there? I've got no idea. I'm doing things all back to front and the wrong way around today. There we go. That's better. I should have done that before I took the thing off. So if I've made you motion sick, I apologise. Thank you for joining me today. Go and shop the sale. There's some real bargains to be had. Place your orders if you don't have a demonstrator in my online shop, because that way you can get up to date stock information. I won't be here next Friday. I'll be here on the 9th at 2 o'clock, and I will pop on my Facebook page what I'll be doing then. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely Easter, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.